So again, if I started over again today, that's one thing that I did back then that I would absolutely do now and put at the top is talk to a lot of people every day. Talk to a lot of people every day. What's up, everybody? BC here again. Welcome to another video. I wanted to do a video today basically saying, hey, if I had to start over today, like 10 and a half, 11 years later, what would stay the same? What would change? And I think this video is going to help you guys because I wrote down 6 or 7 points that I think will hammer home some of the most important things that you need to do, because some has changed, but a lot hasn't, right? And we'll explore that today, all right? So a couple things. Number one is from the get-go. You see, I started doing this later because I learned this and I applied this, but from the beginning, I would really focus on becoming a local superstar. So if I started again in real estate and in business, again, 10, 11 years later, immediately I would be contacting local businesses, interviewing them, talking about them on social media, establishing myself, going to local schools, right? Donating to the kids and sponsoring their teams if I can, offering to speak, right? I would really entrench myself locally and be involved, local chamber of commerce, like totally do that. Go to the local developers and shoot videos of their properties and developments and feature it online, right? Interviewing those local business owners, doing home buying seminars and home selling seminars and inviting all those people from the city there too, right? Really entrenching yourself locally, because I did this later on, but in the beginning, I was only focused on just prospecting, right? Which is great, and I'm going to recommend on this video too. But understand that when you build that local star power, that local celebrity, that local status, it pays you 100-fold later on, and you have to build it from the ground up. So when I say local superstar, feature your local businesses and make content too. Hey, like me being in Miami now, this is why I decided to move to Miami. Here's what $500,000 can buy you in Miami. Here's, the top 5 restaurants to go to in Miami, right? And as part of that video, you can interview some of these people too, right? Making content around where you live and the cities that you work in, interviewing the businesses, right? Getting known, right? Involving yourself in the community, do some charity, right? Build that local star power and superstar status, right? Because whether it's developers, local businesses, or whatever it is, it will pay you 100-fold later on. And you'll be building your database with powerful, established, known, right, individuals who have power, money, respect, and all the stuff that you really want. And when you entrench yourself in that and you build based around that, it gives you an edge over a lot of other people, especially in the respect category and the trust category. Okay? Let's start with that. Number 2 is immediately. I did this okay, but I could have done it much better. Immediately contact regularly, but especially right when you're licensed and you're starting that first day, everybody that you know, coworkers, ex-coworkers, right? Family, friends, people you went to school with, high school with, college with, everybody. Make that list of 50, 100, 200 people and contact them all immediately and frequently, telling them, I just got licensed. I want to help people buy or sell or invest in real estate. I'm working with this company. It's great. I'm here to help, right? I have support so we can help you buy or sell, and you'll have all that track record and experience of my company and all the people that work with me to, represent you on your behalf. I did this okay, right? I could have done it much better. And if I started over again today, I would 100% accentuate that. I would set up the emails, the drips. I would, have people follow me on social media, right? I would contact them and call them and text them more frequently. If you do that better, man, your first year, especially in getting that momentum, will be easier for you. Why? If you remember, right, for those of you who have been following me, even on my old platform years ago, Antonio, family friend of ours, ended up being my first client. And I started contacting people initially before I was even licensed. We had to close that deal under my vice president's license, right? Because I wasn't even technically licensed yet, but I was involving myself in the deal and making sure that we did everything legit. But I got that opportunity because I started contacting people even before I was licensed. So this works. It's not to say you're going to get 20 sales your first month or year from people that you know, but if they give you 1, 2, or 3 that first year, that's more than enough that you need in addition to everything else you may generate to get you going, get your business established. So definitely the people that you know, friends, family, and everybody, you contact them early, often, and with a smile on your face, right? The next one is, if I started over today, I immediately would start with a CloudBased Brokerage. I was with EXP for years. I'm with Real Brokerage now. And when I look at the benefits of these companies that really didn't exist or weren't known when I started 10 years ago, I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? I'm getting stock and I'm getting rewarded stock. I'm building revenue share, right? I'm able to have access to my network and other networks at Real Brokerage, right? Have access to agents and their masterminds and their Zoom calls and their help at all the companies' training as well. I mean, it's just the value is unprecedented. I wish I had that when I started 10 years ago. It would have made it a lot easier. Because when I started 10 or 11 years ago, I walked into the office, I said, there's your desk, there's your phone, get to work. And they walked away. And we had to figure it out, right? So you have access to so many more resources and opportunities that back then it didn't exist and we didn't have it. So again, if I started today, I would definitely start with a company. I always recommend Real because I'm with them, but any cloud-based brokerage that's going to be able to offer you some of those things, because the traditional brick and mortar, it doesn't offer the same thing. It just can't. You can't really compare it, right? Here's another one, right? I would prospect. I did this, but I would still do it today. I prospect minimum 4 hours a day. If I started again, minimum half of my workday, if I worked 8 hours, if I worked 10 hours, it would probably be 5, would be spent lead generating, calling people, going door to door, hosting open houses, right? Putting my booth at a flea market where there's a ton of people and talking to them about real estate. Like, it would be prospecting and talking to people 4 or 5 hours a day. People still sleep on this. You would generate so many leads and get so many appointments and get so much better in your skill set and become a very sharp agent quickly if you prospect 4 or 5 hours a day. Is it boring? Yes. Can it be painful at times? Absolutely. But what else do you have to do? Now more than ever, right? I think the communication skills and skill set of most people has declined. So by you doing this, not only will you develop it, you'll have access to so many more opportunities, because I truly believe that less people are doing these activities at a high level than they were 10 years ago. So you're going to have less competition. Everybody's running online, which is great. Do your social media and build that. But the traditional stuff, prospecting 4 or 5 hours a day, again, if you're new and you don't have anything going on, is your best bet. It's not the most sexy, it's not the most glamorous, but it's going to get you results, which is what you want. So again, if I started over again today, that's one thing that I did back then that I would absolutely do now and put at the top is talk to a lot of people every day. Talk to a lot of people every day. Okay? Got my trust a sticky note here. What else did I write, right? Ooh, here's one that I put that's really good. Post live action online. What do I mean by that? When you're out door knocking, record. When you're making calls, record. When you're showing properties to clients, record. When you're out there in the field doing your thing, record. Not only is this great for stories and social media, but it's also great for posts, and it's also great to drive a lot of traffic to you online, right? People love seeing the live action stuff, and I showed it, right? But not until later on, and not enough of it. I should have shown a lot more of that my first couple years. If you go back to my original YouTube, some of my most viewed videos are live calls and that live role play and that kind of stuff, because people want to see the live action, day in the life of a real estate agent, right? That's also a live action one because I'm showing people what I'm doing that day. So posting a lot of that stuff kills 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You'll be working and doing it anyway, right? It's also going to create content for social media, but you're going to drive a lot more traffic doing that than you would doing traditional stuff, like long form videos like this, where you just talk about things or do a how-to or talk about a particular subject. That's the high octane stuff that I talk about when it comes to social media, the live action stuff. Show the live calls, show the live presentations, show people your role plays, right? Show people, when you're going to the office and what a day looks like for you. Show the live stuff. I guarantee you it's going to be easier for you to create content that way and to get more attention, but it's also going to be that high octane type of stuff, right? Cool. Continuing on, build a referral network, right? I did this later on, but I didn't do it right in the beginning. When you're creating content out there in the field, build an agent referral network, right? Capture the information, the email, the phone number of all these agents that you're connecting with online and in person in these different cities and places. Why? That will give you a lot of extra business and respect in the long run, right? I've lost count of how many deals I've closed from receiving referrals and sending out referrals at this point. I mean, there would be years where we would do 40 or 50 transactions, TBC, just from agent to agent referral in 1 year. That's almost like a deal a week. But because of my online presence, the email list, and the referral network, we were sending out and receiving all the time. Got to the point where I'd be getting checks sometimes in the mail, like what deal was that for? And then we would look back at, we sent out that referral, or they sent it to us 2 months ago and it finally closed, or vice versa, right? But be mindful about this. Because if you do that, man, you'll increase your opportunities to get listings and buyers like crazy, okay? So in summation, right, there's obviously a lot more. You guys can add more if you started over, some of the things that you would do. I'd be curious to hear that in the comment section. But those are just a couple of things that I think would be great for people to get started, because if you did that, I think your trajectory for having a good business would be very, very strong. Okay, so I appreciate you guys watching. Check the links below. We do, and I do, consultations with people online through Zoom. I also offer coaching. I have 3 tiers. If you want to check that stuff out, go to BryanCasellaCoaching.com. If you want to talk to me about Real Brokerage, all the other links as well will be in the description. All right, peace out, guys. I'll see you in the next video.